welcome to an exercise demonstration video for the kneeling hamstring curl. Now I'm going to get into position with a little bit of equipment for this one. You may do this at home with a piece of furniture or at the gym with a specialized piece of equipment to support your body. Now let's get into position and then I'll show you how to do this. Alrighty, I've gathered the equipment and the props that I use when doing the kneeling hamstring curl. Now, I have next to me a sandbag that's about 100 pounds, and I have two objects here to just give it a little bit of support while we're in this position. Let me show you right off the bat how we do this position with minimal props and equipment. Like I said, you may have some piece of equipment, some piece of furniture that enables you to put this weight against the backside of your calves. And this gives you an anchor so that now you can achieve this nice vertical position, get braced in the abs and glutes, and then lean forward, try to hold that muscular force and lean forward, and then feel from the hamstrings pulling you back to this vertical position. Now these are really hard to do, and I always perform better after a few warm-ups. You may feel the same way. When you do this, it's critical to keep this good posture and to work on feeling this contraction in the abs, the glutes, and the hamstrings. Work on feeling that contraction, prioritize that before you focus on going further down in that motion. When you're developing, it can be really helpful to try to delay the descent. Keep it as slow as you can. Push up, and then pull with your hamstrings to finish the movement. That way you're really emphasizing the lowering phase. Now, let me show you how I like to do this to just provide a bit more comfort for the knees and the ankles. I'm going to kick this sandbag off out of the way. And now, if you can see my feet here, we want to establish this little space for the toes to be locked underneath rather than having the toenails on the ground. You can do that with the pool noodle. If this gives enough space for you, everyone's body dimensions are a little different, so this might not be large enough. And sometimes the pool noodle is not as available as some of our other training gear, like foam roller. This is a hollow foam roller, the tube. I'm going to put that against the front portion of my shin. So now, that's keeping a bit of space for this bag as the anchor. A little awkward to get this in for yourself. Maybe you have a training partner, maybe you can do it at home with your own equipment. Here's how we want to have this anchored position and now the toes tucked under while we perform the kneeling hamstring curl. So again, abs and glutes, keeping nice and tight, leaning forward, feeling those hamstrings, pulling yourself back to vertical. Now when I first started on this, I felt like I could barely even move before I would just completely collapse over, and that's totally normal if you feel the same way. Now, two important things to keep in mind here, and I'm going to tuck my shirt in just to make this a little easier to see. When we go through our kneeling hamstring curl, we want to make sure we keep our posture nice and tall. So if you can see this line down the side of my shorts and this T intersection at the waistband, as we're going through, we want to start with these both nice and neutral. So we're squeezing in our abs and that keeps this T shape. If we're in a position that looks like this, with our back overextended, you can see this is no longer horizontal. No good, right? We want to squeeze those glutes, get this waistband nice and neutral, right in the middle, not tilted forward, not tilted backwards. And as we lean over, we're staying tight to achieve and maintain that T position. What we don't want to see, two common mistakes, leaning at the hips like this. You can now see the shape is different. Or being in a position where we're overly arched. Again, that hip out of position, and now leaning forward. It doesn't even feel good to demonstrate. Here's the proper one once again, abs and glutes. Lean forward. This is good enough work right here if you're just squeezing, and then pull yourself back up. Now, if you can, go for repetitions, go for the hold, and go for the range of motion. So it's taking a long time for you to get all the way out there low, and hopefully one day pulling yourself back up. That could be a lofty goal, but it's worth working up to. All right, here's the last few demonstration reps, and then I want you to try this one on your own. Very tough, but very worth it. We really feel the hamstrings when we're squeezing in that contraction, trying to pull our body back into that vertical position. Now, finally, remember, as you're doing this, as I mentioned before, when you're doing this one, prioritize that safety and control. So only tilt a little bit. Feel the tension in your muscles. Work on pulling yourself back towards vertical. And do that before you start to go all the way out to the bottom. Now, as I touched on earlier, when you are ready for this and you want to make it a little bit harder, you can give yourself that long lowering phase where you try to fight the descent all the way. Or give yourself an object or some other piece of padded implement here that can give you a bit of a boost, a bit of an aid to come back up to a vertical position. Get all of our stuff in the right place. And now we can use this backpack as basically a target to bring the floor a little higher. So as I press out here, I'm almost losing it. I'm going to give the smallest press from my hand and then boost myself the rest of the way with the engagement in those hips, the hamstrings, and the glutes. That's a real tough one, but it's a great way to scale this and to modify it a little bit. Just make sure you maintain the proper position as you start to go into these more challenging versions. Once more. Tiny push. Big pull from those hamstrings. You'll feel it on the backside. Okay, we're out. You'll feel it on the backside, and you'll have that sensation when you're doing these. Remember, whether you're holding, whether you're moving, what we really care about is to feel that tension in the backside of your body, primarily the hamstrings. All right, if you need to, give a little extra padding for your knees if you don't have a nice comfortable place like this. And remember that this one is okay to try to draw out the contraction, try to make the work take a little bit longer. So we're never going to just move quickly up and down. It's about being smooth and slow and controlled in both directions. All right, give it a try. Let me know how it goes for you. And of course, message me with any questions you may have. See you next time.